Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cooking with Positivity. I am your host, Zykia McCoy. Here at Cooking with Positivity, we like to focus on positivity leading to success, whether that be in your business, in your love life, or in your everyday decision making. It is book club time. We are joined by author, CWP family member, JJDa J. How are you?
I am doing good. How are you today?
I am doing amazing. I'm excited to talk about this book because I've been itching to talk about it since we talked about the first one. So I want to dive right in.
Let's go.
Now, I normally hold the listeners' questions till the end, but this question came up quite a few times from a few listeners on Waveful. They wanted to know why you're always killing babies. Their
Hey.
question, not mine. I didn't.
I don't be just always killing no babies. I don't like that. I don't just always be killing no babies. It be stuff that happen that lead to those situations. I don't just be out here killing no babies.
And now let's get to what leads up to these things, because that's another reason why I chose to double back and do part two, because April is our growth, reset, transition, resurrection, and all of that month. And I think your book fits perfectly. It gives real life growth, real life transition, and real life reset, because the things that Chosen, Stacks, even Kira and Demon go through in this book versus the first one, it's definitely growth, definitely transition, and definitely needed a reset.
Definitely.
Now, there were a few things I wanted to discuss, but I had to, keep it locked in. When you chose to make Clarissa not only the op, but a detective plotting to take Stacks down, what was your thought process?
I'm happy you asked me that because I know we talked about this the first time I joined you guys with the first series, that I'm a very freestyle kind of writer. Like, I come up with the idea and I run with it. This was actually a book that I had started a while ago, but where if I know I did a small arc read with this with like 5 people, who really mean a lot to me, right? People who I know gonna tell me the truth. My sister-in-law, my mom. So it was really close group knit to me. And when I sent it to them, they was like, nah, this not it. They were a lot younger in the first book, a lot younger. And it just, even though it came from a real life place, it wasn't giving what it needed to give. So when I went back to revisit the story, I'm like, but the actual storyline of it is so good, I can't just scrap it. When I actually went back, I didn't know where I was going with it or where I wanted to go. So when I ended the second book, I just needed something because I wasn't ready for the story to end. So I needed something that was going to stick out for me and inspire me to write another one. So I was like, well, what if the baby mama is the feds? That just feels like it's gonna give me something to motivate me and push the story, and it did. I think I like book 2 better than I like book 1. A lot better.
I think I can tell that by reading it.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later, but I think I can tell that.
But it
Now,
kind of just came about. I didn't have no thought process. It was just something that I needed, something to keep pushing me forward, and that just came to me.
because I will be honest, I was gobsmacked. I was sitting there like, how, what? this is entrapment and other things. I don't even know the law like that, but I know this is wrong. Like, how could this be possible? They have a child together. Like, I don't understand. And it went on for so long.
Yeah.
Normally people are not undercover for that long.
Right. She was never planning on, that's why it kind of just came to me. For me, it was a great plot twist. I didn't give off it was just like Lonnie. When Lonnie revealed that she was actually the head, it was one of them things that I never, even though she came up in the story, she never had enough spotlight for that to ever be something that people seen coming. I didn't see it coming. But when it came, I was like, I'm going with this. And I already knew it was going to go downhill because I'm not slow enough to think that, oh, I can be the feds undercover for 5 years having a baby with somebody and still take them down, because no, realistically, that would never happen. But it just was one of them real life situations to me where it's like, people sometimes let jealousy and emotions clout their better judgment. She knew for a long time she needed to find a way out because she wasn't going to win in the situation. She had fallen in love with the target. It was already going to go bad. So eventually the walls was going to come tumbling down on that. She just kind of let her emotions make her push the button before she needed to. And she took a lot of people down with her, which made for a great storyline in part two. I love that for me.
Now, I will say, I saw where you were going with giving us Clarissa's backstory. I want to say it did not garner enough give a fuck for me for Clarissa towards the end because of all the things she had done since then. It's kind of one of those villains for me where it's like, yeah, but you're a horrible person.
Right. But that's in any situation like that. I understand the theory of hurt people hurt people. I get it. I do. I'm a person who went through things that probably could, turn a person evil if I allowed it to. But I wanted to show that was her backstory, was kind of to show people how evil really grows, though. She was put in a situation where she didn't have no control over the situation, and she didn't have anybody in her corner to guide her in those emotions and feelings that she didn't know what to do with. And she let them consume her, and look where it led her, straight to her death, directly to HE double hockey sticks with gasoline draws on, because she didn't have who knows what she could have been if she actually had somebody who cared enough about her to guide her through her anger and show her how to manage her emotions. She never had that. As much as her mother tried to make it seem like she loved her, she didn't. She had her for the wrong reasons, and it reflected in the way she treated her, and she just turned out the way she turned out. Unfortunately, people like that always have to pay the piper eventually. The reaper will come collect, and karma is real. But it was more so, I didn't want y'all to feel bad for Clarissa. I just wanted y'all to understand that she didn't just wake up a horrible person. Things shaped her into the person that she was. It just led her down the wrong path.
I get that, but you love hitting people with cars. I say that because when we first read Lonnie's story, there was the car accident, not an accident. And now we have Chosen getting hit by a car, not an accident. I wanted to put myself in the book. I don't think Clarissa got what she deserved. And I think her mom got off easy too. I think their death should have been a little bit more torturous, a little bit more drawn out. Especially her mother, given the fact that it stemmed from her. She's the reason why Clarissa is how she is. And so I wanted to ask, in your writing of her mother, is her backstory similar or just the same?
The crazy part is I wouldn't say that, because when she originally met Clarissa's father, she was in college, kind of had a clear plan for her life. She was just a woman who let a man literally come in and destroy her life. She got too dependent on a man who was selling her a fairy tale that she bought into, and when the fairy tale came crashing down, instead of just accepting defeat and walking away, she chose to do some things that cost her a lot in the end. And her death was never, it wasn't supposed to be long nor drawn out because she wasn't important. She violated, she killed one of Lonnie's own, and she had to go. It was that simple. She wasn't the focus. And Lonnie love a good, long, drawn out, unnecessary kill. She does. That's her thing. But some people just ain't worth all that. And that was one of the people that wasn't worth all that. She had to go. On the other hand, Clarissa, I felt like, because I didn't give y'all Candy's death, I didn't actually give it to y'all. I just kind of told y'all I did it and that she was a goner. I felt like I had to redeem myself. And I love that scene for me. It was so, I don't know. It was very satisfying picturing her dragging her through the villas of Italy. I loved it. I did. And I'm starting to, I keep telling you, I learn more and more about myself the more books I write. And I'm starting to think that therapy did not actually work as much as I thought it did.
Well, actually, think of it like this. Like, therapy definitely did help because you're not out here committing it. You're actually just writing about it. So, there's a win because you could be out here dragging people with cars yourself.
I could be, and I'm not. I liked it though. I did. I liked it. I was satisfied with that. I felt like I made up for Candy really getting off super easy.
And I can see that. Now that you say that, I can see that. But I feel like Stacks should have got some in there too. Like he deserved that. And
True.
I'm shocked it took him so long, being that he's such an astute character. It took him so long to even realize that she was not who she said she was. He had an entire baby with her. Oh yeah, he wasn't engaging with her like his woman and things like that, but he missed a lot of the signs. And now, did you write that intentionally or was it just plot armor?
It was intentionally, because she never went in with the right intentions, right? Off the rip, before she even got assigned to the case, she was already in lust with him.
Right.
So she already latched on with with an infatuation with him before even getting on the case. So she never intended, I don't think her intentions were ever to actually go do her job, which is why it was so easy for her to skate under the radar. Because let's be real, when people go undercover, they build their lives very well because people are going to look into them. That's just logic, right? You can't send somebody undercover without a deep enough cover to be searched, because if that's the case, you literally threw them to the wolves to die. That wouldn't make any sense. So when he looked into her, there was nothing much to her that stood out, and she never really did her job. to make him to make him suspicious, things that cops would do that would start making him look at her different. She wasn't pressing the issue about spending time with him. She was taking what she get. She wasn't really in his mix. Even though she was watching in the shadows, none of that really mattered because what she actually had against him wasn't too crazy besides the one mishap where he accidentally had to kill somebody. Well, I ain't gonna say accidentally,
I was
but
about to say that was the
not
accident
it
here.
wasn't premeditated. He didn't intentionally go there to kill the dude. It just happened that way. And she happened to be with him when it happened. It ain't like she knew who he was. Like the whispers in the streets was always there. So her knowing of him was nothing. And even when she went to give the evidence, that's the only evidence she really had was that he wasn't thinking much of it. I don't know. It was definitely intentionally wrote that way though, for it to be a shock to him and everybody else. Because how did he beat himself up about that real bad? Like, how did I miss that? I've been coexisting with this woman for 5 years, the whole time my son been alive. And I never had a clue. I never even thought that she could
And
be the police.
that's the part that I am I couldn't suspense my, you know, belief. I couldn't suspense my, real life thought process. I was like, there's no way Stacks of all people let her get past him so easily.
But
It
that's the
didn't.
thing. He didn't let her get past because if he did, she would have had a nail in his coffin. When the only thing she really had was the fact that she knew where that body was. But even if they got it, she would have had to prove it was him. And he still moved the way he moved as that. She didn't know nothing about his business that could really incriminate him on nothing. He wasn't worried about that. He just knew she knew certain people and certain players that now I got to move around because I don't know who looking at what and what they looking at. But I just feel like he didn't care enough about her and she wasn't making big enough waves for him to pay attention to her. Like, yeah, that's my kid, mom. I take care of my child. That's what I'm supposed to do. But other than that, Clarissa really wasn't a factor, I guess. I don't know.
I get your
It
thought
made
process.
sense when I did it. It
Yeah,
made
I
sense
get
when
your
I
thought
did it.
process. But that part stuck out to me a lot, especially when I got to the last chapter of the first book. I was like, how? There's no way. That's why I immediately had to read book 2 because I was like, no, I missed something. Obviously, something is missing because it's no way. Especially how cautious he was, especially in the first book. Him and Demon, honestly, they made sure they weren't too hands on. They made sure they weren't, there 24/7. And it seemed like they had very loyal workers. And if they didn't, they knew how to eliminate the problem. So that is the only plot point for me that I was like, I missed something. There is something missing right here. Because even though, like I said, he wasn't looking at her like, that's my woman, that's my kid's mom. It is what it is. And even that, I don't
But
even
I'm not
understand.
gonna lie to you. That's the part that really made him not is really them having a kid together is really what put him off of a radar, like especially on a cop. He would have never went cop because being in that lifestyle, you should probably know the laws, and he knows that that's entrapment. Like Why?
That's what I was
Who would
thinking, because
think that
I
the
don't
police
know.
would do that? They don't do that. That's not what they do. That don't make no sense. And they had that baby quick. That happened within like the first year of them talking. She got pregnant. It happened fast. She made that happen quick. And it was manufactured. It ain't like he was recklessly doing anything. It was manufactured. She caught him on the right night and just poked holes in the condom. She did her part to make sure that what she was trying to accomplish got accomplished. But that made it easy for him to overlook her because he, in his wildest dreams, people like him overanalyze everything. That's what keep him a step ahead of everybody. He looks at situations from every angle it could be looked at. And there is no angle he could have looked at that situation that would have pointed to her being in the police, because it wouldn't have made sense.
And I'll give you that.
It just wouldn't have made sense. Nothing about that. When he found out, he didn't understand. He couldn't comprehend how that would equal that. Like, how did that happen? There's no way. Who's running that show? Like, why would they think that letting her have a baby by me, the plan, just none of that? I don't know. It sounded, when I wrote it, it sounded right. Like, it made so much sense to me when I wrote it.
And
Cause
it,
I'm
and
like,
it,
he was always plotting, trying to get ahead, thinking that she could make him fall in love. And what she flipped, like, what's the worst they gonna hit her with? They would have to just take her down with him. But then, like, she know they moves anyway. So if she got in the way she wanted to get in, it was easy for her to avoid different things and getting caught up. But she just never could get the end. Her plan just didn't go the way it was supposed to go. And after so many years, she just figured that he just young and ain't ready to settle you down yet. But she was just like her mom. As long as I wait here, eventually he gonna come around. And when he went and did everything for another girl that she wanted him to do, it all started crumbling down. And that made her do something stupid. Very, very stupid.
well, we're gonna get into the listeners' questions, because they had some very interesting questions, much like the first question I asked you. Now, Camden 242 wants to know why Kira wasn't a big storyline in this book. Even the character felt left out.
I have a thing with that. I introduce people because they are supporting cast. And I feel like if I just throw them in there without giving them a space to actually exist is weird. But I always set it up like that because you see how you're asking me that? It makes you want more. You wanted more, Kira, and I'm going to give it to you, but I'm going to give it to you in her own space, not
Right.
clouded by Chosen and Stacks. I'm going to give it to y'all in her own space. I am working on her and Demon Standalone. It is coming. But I always like to leave y'all wanting more because it keeps me paid if I keep writing books.
Now, Alicia, not your baby mama. Okay. I got it. It's written weird, but I got it. She wants to know, why was Kira being such a brat when Chosen was spending time with her man?
Because it's always been just them. Chosen never had no man. Even when she did, she didn't really have a man. Like, it's always been them. They've been best friends since forever. Like, she's so used to having her best friend, she wasn't used to that. She used to being the one running around and Chosen at home waiting for her to come tell her stories. It was just a different, she had to get used to it. My best friends is like that too. They stingy. They don't want my time going with anybody at all. I don't care if it's my man, a coworker. They don't want me spending time with nobody outside of them. She just was a brat. Chosen has spoiled her for years, and she didn't know how to act when Stacks tried to take her best friend away.
I can definitely see that. I can definitely see that. Now, what is this? What? RX 337. Okay, because I don't know what that's supposed to be, but they want to know why give us chosen and a girlfriend and a boyfriend, but not give us that relationship fleshed out.
Because the story wasn't about Chosen or her girlfriend. The story was about Chosen and Stacks. That was just happened to be a part of her that she chose to share with him.
All right.
It was just, that's just some, like, this storyline moved really fast. It wasn't a slow paced story. It moved really fast. So as it was going, they were getting to know each other little by little. And that just happened to be one of the things she chose to reveal to him. Because let's be real, if they're going to be in a relationship, he should probably know that his girl likes to dip in the lady pond.
That's factual. All right. Leslie 2.0. Okay. Uh, she wants to know which relationship is your favorite outside of Demon and Kira.
I'm confused on what you mean by that. Which, like, between.
I'm assuming all of the relationships in the book that we end up with at the end.
Okay,
I'm
that's who?
assuming. I don't know.
Chosen and Sex, Kira and Demon. And I guess you could say Mama B and Twan. I guess. I ain't gonna hold you. My favorite relationship, and it's a very small relationship. I'll let y'all peek in there. It's definitely is Mama B and Twan. That surprised me. I don't know why I did that. I was like, I love when an old woman just be messing with these young boys, knowing she know better. But
I'm not gonna hold you. I was shocked about that myself. Twan, of all people, I was just like, okay, um, yeah. But we move. And Aisha wanted to know, why was Clarissa deemed unhinged and her son turned against her when she had every right to be jealous of the relationship between her son and Chosen?
okay, so wrong. One thing about me, I am a mother of 3 kids. I have 2 baby fathers who have lives outside of my children. And one thing I will never in my life be mad about is someone who loves my kids like I love my kids. I don't understand that. I can't never get behind that. Females come in like, I don't want, he didn't love you no less though. So why are you mad that this woman loves your son as much as you love your son and he still love you the same? I don't understand.
I could see that.
Like that'd be weird to me. That's just weird energy to me. I ain't say her and Chosen had to be friends. She ain't have to like her or none of that. But to be jealous because your son found somebody who love him the same way you love him, so when he's not in your care, you know he's taken care of the same way that you take care of him. That's weird energy to me. You wasn't even mad that your son liked her. You was mad that the dad liked her. You didn't really care about your son. You just felt like your son was the only thing really whole and stacks to you, and you felt like that was slipping away from you. So yeah, she deserved to be called unhinged. Because why would you hit somebody with a car? Like, wait.
Yeah, well, that part. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. All right. Last question from Sharon Stein. Sharon wants to know, will we get another story about Stacks and their kids? And bonus question, why didn't you have Lonnie, because I've been calling her Lainey all this time, and Chosen interact more?
Well, one thing y'all gotta know about everybody know Lonnie. She's a business kind of woman. She chooses not to mix business and personal Don't get me wrong, she know the players and who close to them. That's just a part of the game. I got to know who you love in case I ever got to take it from you. But these are her business associates. These are not her, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, their relationship is different than she has with other business associates. True, but it just wasn't, certain things don't, like the intimate moment of their wedding and things like that. So she's not going to intrude on stuff like that. When they need to meet, they will, which, I am, like I said, I am going to give you Kira and Demon Story, which means you will hear from Stacks. You will hear from Chosen. You know how I do. They going to definitely make their appearances. But, Lonnie might pop up too, but I doubt it. I don't know if y'all on the continuation of that first series. Lonnie going through some stuff right now. She got a lot going on. So who knows? Maybe in the future. I just didn't feel the need for him to interact.
Understandable. Now, is there anything that I didn't ask or the listeners didn't ask that you would like us to take away from this book?
I would say the biggest thing for me when writing this book was navigating through fear, because I feel like fear is one of the biggest crippling emotions that we can have as humans. It stops you from loving. It stops you from living. It stops you from being happy. Fear destroys people so much that I feel like we don't shine enough light on the fact that it's okay to be unsure and unnerved, but you can't let fear stand in your way of happiness. Chosen was really blocking her own blessings, and simply out of fear, just of fear of being hurt again, fear of abandonment, fear of a lot of things that Stacks came along to help her heal. And she did the same for him. And just, I don't know, healing. There's a lot of things I want y'all to take out of this book, but maybe I just see deeper into things. A lot of people read at the surface level. I know, because I've been one of them people who read just for the escape of reality. But sometimes you really gotta vibe with the authors and see the bigger picture of what they trying to get across, because we hide the messages in the mess and in the unhinged MMCs and the, you know what I'm saying, the loving FMCs. But I feel like mostly every book I've ever read that stuck with me had that hidden message that grabbed me before I even knew it had me. And then once I got to the end, it was like, oh, I see the vision. I see exactly what they wanted me to see. So I just hope that people read my books with their eyes open and look for the little things that I try to share and drop to kind of help somebody who might be going through something that one of my characters is going through.
And I think for most of us, we took away a lot of that. At least I know I did. I would get involved, which is why I have to be real selective when I start reading books or watching certain shows, because I get very invested. And when
Right,
things
but that's
don't
why
turn
I
out like that,
love,
I'm like,
if y'all don't know, I love me some Cooking with Positivity, y'all. One of my first supporters, been with me since day one, ain't never switched on me, and I know that you're gonna keep it real with me. Y'all don't sugarcoat it. If you liked it, you liked it. If you didn't like it, you didn't like it. If you liked this but didn't like this, if you got questions, I really love that, because I don't think y'all understand. Sometimes I feel like people criticize authors just to be mean,
oh
and
yeah,
that doesn't help. Constructive criticism, it sting a little bit. It might bruise your ego, but it ultimately helps you become better. But just attacking people, I don't like that. Your constructive criticism has always been great, understood. You don't mind asking questions when you don't understand, stating your opinion. That's the kind of feedback that we as authors want. We don't want criticism about, oh, I'm tired of reading the same story. me and the same author can write the same story, but we're not gonna write it the same. It's not gonna be the same. And some readers gonna connect with my story, some readers gonna connect with their story, but that don't make my story bad or their story bad.
Right.
It just means people relate with them different. So I just had to get that off my chest because I've been seeing a lot of messy stuff go on with my fellow writers that in between the readers is mostly reader driven, and I don't like that. I really do not like that. We are already in a vulnerable space. I don't know if people think it's easy to write a book and put yourself out there to share your work with other people to even be criticized, but it's not an easy spot to be in. We put a lot on the line. Ain't nobody just writing these books like, oh, if it go with, no, we put in our creativity. We really believe in the story if we put it out. So don't just come trying to tear people down because you feel like you have the right to do that. No, offer your constructive criticism in a polite way. And I'm pretty sure I ain't never met an author that won't accept it and learn from it. I'm one of them at least.
And that is very true. One of the first reviews I got was very negative, and it was the reader not being able to believe the story would happen the way it happened or the way I wrote it. And I was just like, how can you say it's not believable? These are things that I've experienced or the people that I know experience. So how is it not believable? I don't understand that. And that review she gave me 1 star. And I was heartbroken. I was sitting there for a while like, can I even finish a series? Like, do I even continue writing this? Because if it's not believable, why am I writing it? And it came from, like I said, a mix of experiences. So it was very real to myself. Of course, the book itself is fictional, but the things that transpired in the book is very real to me. And that comment haunted me for a while because I was just sitting there like, what? I don't understand. I don't understand. And I just wanted to talk to this person. I just wanted to interact with them and ask them, like, why is it not believable to you? What part is not believable? Like, what don't you believe?
You are me and I am you, because when people be in my reviews talking nonsense, I really be wanting to like track them down, like not even on no hostile stuff. Like I want to have a real conversation with you. I'm trying to understand how you came up with that.
Like, what
I
is
don't
your
even
thought process? I don't understand.
like, huh? And that's what I don't think a lot of readers understand. Yes, we are fiction writers. We write fiction, which means the stories that we write are not real. But I'm pretty sure I can speak for myself and plenty of other authors. Most of our books stem that we choose to to put into a fictional story,
Right.
but it doesn't mean that the things that happen in those books are not very real to us. It's fake for y'all, and y'all get to live in the fantasy and create the story that y'all want it to be, but I lived it. And unfortunately, I didn't have the luxuries of creating the story I wanted it to be and the outcome that I wanted it to be. I didn't have that luxury. So who are you to criticize me on my life? That's crazy to me.
That it's beyond it. Now, like I say all the time, you are family. We love you right back here at Cooking with Positivity. Look forward to any and everything you got coming out. Looking forward to Cure and Demon Story. Let everybody know where they can get the books, where they can connect with you, all of that fun stuff.
All right. So all my books are available on Kindle Unlimited right now. I'm in the process still of getting the paperbacks. It's a lot more that goes into it than I thought, but I'm going to work on it and I'm eventually going to get that out to y'all. And when I do, I'm going to go live probably on TikTok to let everybody know when they'll be dropping. Also, if y'all haven't read Have Yourself a Messy Little Christmas, that is book 4 in the You're the One in the Two series. And that's out right now, available on Kindle Unlimited. And I have Love You Story coming out next. She's up next, should be out by the beginning of next month. And I'm really excited to share that with y'all. Y'all can follow me on everything: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Snapchat, JJDa J _ the author, on everything, all platforms. And I'm always open to talk, chit chat, whatever you need to do. You can always ask your questions. Y'all can always catch me on Cooking with Positivity too, because I stops by and kick it with the family.
Yes. And on that note, y'all, we're out.